Hi guys, this is the video for elementary February 11th and 12th. I hope you're enjoying teaching through the story of David. He's one of our family's favorite Bible characters, Bible figures. This week you are going to be in 1 Samuel chapters 28 through 29. So just take some time and just pour over those verses and just ask God to speak to you so that you can be teaching these truths to our kiddos. The first activity you'll have to do today for this weekend is making a lyre. So you'll have one of these for each child. You'll have some markers and just encourage the kids to decorate their lyre. And then each kid can have maybe 3 or 4 colored rubber bands. And then basically you just stretch the rubber bands over the lyre and they'll have an instrument to play with. So this is a really great opportunity for you to recap some of the story of David that you've already discussed with them. It's also a really great time to bring up praise and worship and how important worship was to David and how David actually, in fact, wrote many of the Psalms. So it's just a really good time for you to kind of connect the kids to worship and to the previous lesson before you get started into today's lesson. So today you are in, like I said, 1 Samuel 28 and 29. Essentially, you're telling the story of David's exile. And where we want to get to by the end of this lesson is that God has victory, that God's victory is, that God gives us victory, that we can't find victory for ourselves. And I love this story because oftentimes we tell the lessons of David in a way that describe David as the hero. And he is. God has made him the hero. God gave him great victory, and God allowed him to have great defeat over his enemies because David was faithful and David trusted in the Lord's strength and the Lord's sovereignty. But sometimes I think our kids can maybe get misguided thinking that David is perfect. And so this is a great lesson because David is not perfect. In fact, we know as adults that David is very flawed. And it's incredible that God uses this very flawed man to create wonderful things. And so in today's lesson, we see that David is kind of scared. And we see that David tries to take control over a situation by going to the enemy. And that fails miserably for him. And it isn't until he submits to God's will that he finds victory. And so that's what we want our kids to understand is that we cannot rely upon ourselves. We cannot rely upon our own control and our own thoughts and our own desires. We must be connected in a relationship with God so that we know His will, because that is the only way we have victory. So I'm excited about this lesson for you guys. And then you're going to end with kind of a fun activity, a fun game. You will all have these punch boards in your classroom. So I think there's like 18 different cups. You'll have a bunch of questions from last week and from this week. I think you have, 19 or 20 questions. So basically you separate the kids into 2 teams. You ask a question to each team. If they get the question right, they get to punch through this tissue paper and get the points that are behind the punch board. So you can do a fun interpretation of this game. If they get the question wrong, the other side can steal. However you want to run the game in your classroom, but hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. So, and then again, you have a psalm to go along with your blessing, just to continue to reiterate worship and praise, through King David. So, to our King. So anyways, if you have any questions, just let your campus directors know. We always love feedback, so let us know what's working. Let us know, how you liked the game, any of that stuff. We are always happy to hear from you. And we thank you so much for your incredible support of this ministry and your heart for these kids. Thank you so much.